Yay, our loyal audience.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. We will be waiting for more people to join, but in the meantime, we have Sanam and Tetet, and hopefully Diyana joins later. Hello. So good to see you. How are you? Where are you, Sanam, and where are you, Tetet?
In that order, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm joining you. You know what? That's an opportunity for me to acknowledge stolen land because I am joining you from the continent that is known as Australia and specifically from Wurundjeri land. The Wurundjeri people are one of the members of the Kulin Nation, and they have been the traditional custodians who have cared for the lands and waters here for um, you know, several thousands of years. And I mean, it's not like people haven't heard of Australia or haven't heard of Melbourne, but I feel very conscientious and always want to make sure that I acknowledge and sort of remember that I'm here on stolen land, and in those ways I'm coming as a settler. I'm participating in this process of continued occupation because I think this is something that people don't always realize. This is my first experience of living in a white settler country, so I think it's more striking to me coming from the outside. So this is the space that I'm coming from, and I honor and show my respect to the first peoples of this land.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sanam. And it must be quite late for you.
It's midnight, but as we were discussing, like everything that I'm doing, Rina would have done 10 times as much for any of us. So I don't even want to draw attention to the fact that I'm doing this well into 1 a.m. More than happy to do it. And I think the best thing that we've got through the ways that not just the three of us know each other, but I'm seeing all the names of people who have joined as well. We all know each other through organizing, through feminist work, through our commitment, through our solidarity. And this is the best thing that we have. This is what brings us together. This is what holds us up. And I'm proud to be able to honor that in a small way.
Definitely. Thank you.
Tetet. Sorry, I took up a lot of time.
No, no, no. Go ahead, Sanam. Well, are you done?
Yeah.
It's a tough act to follow, and I'm not quite
Never. You're just as tough.
I'm not quite sure I have the spunk in me at this point. I'm joining you now from Manila in the Philippines. It's the first time in 15 years that I haven't I skipped the COP, no, the climate conference happening now in Belém. And as many of you and our friends who are attending, I'm also going through some difficult moments, um, both in the political and the personal front. So politically, the Philippines has had super typhoons one after the other in the last month, that on top of or in the midst of a huge controversy, corruption, plaguing flood control projects, vis-a-vis, all of these billionaire contractors doing public works. So that really highlights, how the failure of governance, bureaucracy, and the impacts of climate change are intersecting and interacting, resulting in a lot of lives lost, a lot of properties and livelihoods damaged forever. And for me to just be observing the COP from afar at this point, it really makes me mad. No, it really angers me that it's the same discussions. It's the same in action. Our colleagues, I see Liana here, who are still putting up a very brave fight in Belém. They're still calling for climate finance, whether it's for adaptation, whether it's for loss and damage, for mitigation, for just transition. But sadly, the COP is not delivering. No, it's continuing to fail. And I see also, my heart breaks that our indigenous peoples who are protesting and asserting their right to the land and to the forest are being dealt with, in a very militarized way. So it's surreal, no? At the personal level, I'm also joined. This is my first public appearance since yeah my husband passed on last month. Um, Lost his fight to cancer. It's a 2 year. Oh my gosh, it's a 2 year struggle.
If you want to take a moment, take a moment. It's a lot.
Yeah. So this news about Rina, it's also very very it's close to my heart. So it's like you staying up until midnight, me in the midst of my grief. We do this for the love of Rina. And this is how we show our solidarity and our care for our community. Okay, back to you, Emilia.
So sorry.
Tell us how bad it is in Belém.
Yeah, thank you so much, both of you, and Tetet, all of our love and solidarity in these moments you're going through. It's a lot, and it is a testament of all of the love that Rina has generated around her. As you all know, we are organizing this launch, but in honor to Rina, there is a fundraising event. We've shared the information. It is very straightforward and it has been very transparent. Our dear Guardarina is battling her toughest fight yet, which is against pancreatic cancer. And she has undergone a surgery, but the assessment is that there is a possibility that she can get the proper treatment in China, and this is why we need $65,000. As you all have seen, because also the campaign, the GoFundMe is very transparent. We are still missing half of the funding. And thanks to the amazing response of people, we already gone through half of it, which is just, again, a testament of all of the love that Rina has generated, but also for us who have been colleagues of her, friends of her, we have been complicit with her in so many endeavors. We really wanted to ramp up the campaign for fundraising. And so this launch is in honor to Rina to help us amplify the message, to talk about Rina, how powerful she has been, and now how that power should be channeled collectively and individually in Rina to really fight for her life, for a better quality of life now in this moment of treatment. So this is really our solidarity action to try to show solidarity. And thank you, Sanam and Tetet. Hopefully, Diyana is also in another meeting, but hopefully she will join us later today. But we are very, very grateful for you to joining us today in this launch. It is also a very important moment for us. We're launching the new episode of the Campaign of Campaign. And you know that Rina is a featuring star in the Rise Up series. She's one of the Despise Girls. Maybe we can tell our audience, because I see also new people, our audience, how the Despise Girls came up to be. And Rina has been at the heart of the Despise Girls from the beginning. And so, yeah, it's going to be an exciting session as well. Bittersweet, but very relevant for us as movement, because everybody has a role to play. And this is our way of honoring also Rina in this moment.
Yeah, this Despise Girls story is very good. I think start with that story. I always love it. Where
You
were
wanna
you? What was the year? What was the outfit? What was the color of your hair?
Tetet, you wanna start?
Yeah, I think it was the first, no, high-level political forum. So that was 2016. Although we've known each other, uh,
And can you believe it's now the last 5-year block? 2030 agenda is
yeah.
finishing.
So we've known each other way back, but it was only during the first HLPF that the three of us came together in one of the morning meetings of the women's major group. And then, we were all bitching and ranting about how governments were just putting on all of these glossy touristic shows for their voluntary national reports. So we were ranting, we were calling out governments for not really showing the real situation, the real state of the people. So we were laughing, of course, highly charged, the three of us. And then we said, I think how did it come about? It said let's call ourselves something. So it's like the Spice Girls, taking off from the Spice Girls. Why despise? Because governments will despise us. Corporations will despise us because we are trying to speak truth to power. So I guess the name stuck, and I don't know, Emilia, it's become sort of a mini movement. No, a lot of our feminist friends are also identifying with the Despise Girls. So we have a very nascent movement of feminists who would want themselves to be associated with the Despise Girls.
You
You
haven't
remember
yet answered what you guys were wearing because I
that's
think
the
that's
thing.
pertinent.
That's the thing, because you are making it very political, Tetet, but we were also very fashionable, the three of us, and we were also very rude that morning in an intervention, and we were drafting our interventions for the room that were very impertinent. And we said, oh, we should start a rock band, a punk band or something, because we really have the sass, and this is why we were starting to post like rock stars and to do our cover for the album. And this is why, I don't know, you or Rina came up, yeah, we should be called, how we should be called, and we should be the Despise Girls. And that was hilarious. So that's how the three of us became the Despise Girls. And we were called like that in the hallways of the UN for several years. And when we decided to do the live in Facebook, the Despise Girls Talk Economic Justice, and that was the way in which we started to analyze all things global justice live. But then we also started the Rise Up series with the Despise Girls as the main characters, which are like a metaphor of the coalescing of many movements. So the Despise Girls go about in different stages to discuss public services, anti-privatization, climate change, care, degrowth, and other stuff. And when the Despise Girl come, then that's the signal for other movements to start showing up. And actually, the Spice Girls take second stage, and the movements take a predominant role in the videos. But then, as time has passed, it has been very interesting because when talking to people, sometimes they said, oh, the Despise Girls are you, and others say, oh, the Despise Girls are these animated characters, and they don't know that these are based on real people. So it is very interesting. Some people only know the Despise Girls in real life, and some people only know the Despise Girls in the animated series.
This is how you create legends.
Absolutely. Because also in the Despise Girls live sessions, we decided that every time a guest comes to speak, they become Despise Girls. So we have had many people,
Yeah,
including
I happily claimed that I'm an honorary Despise Girl.
Sanam was the godmother of the Despise Girls way when we started. So all of us have become Despise Girls. And we even had, I think, one man at some point, and we told him that he was going to be a Despise Girl because that is the custom.
Yeah, it's a mentality.
We had two honorary Despise Girls.
We have Seb and who else? Seb, you from
Seb and Yeb.
And yeah, so we have two
Yeah.
Despise Girls that are men. And they're very proud.
Yeah,
Yay!
because it's a mentality. It's a coolness.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's a
So
state of mind.
let me tell you, people, that when we do the Rise Up series, the animated videos, each of us ask, we request the activists to send us a picture, and then they do the voice of their characters. And so Rina, when we started, Rina had the blue stripe in her hair. And so that has become the mark of her character. Like also the first time my character was present, I had a tutu. And so my character continues to have the tutu. And Tetet's role has this traditional clothes, the pattern of clothes that she wears. So each of us have like a featuring characteristic from the start, and the characters, despite the changing of illustration, they still continue with that mark. So if it's okay with you, let us start, because the Campaign of Campaigns has a surprise. There is a video with Rina's character across several episodes. So maybe we can start by watching that. Denise, can you help us with that? So this is the first. We cannot hear the voice. Do you?
The sound's not coming through yet.
But you see her blue stripe. Well, that was the different characters. Maybe we can try to fix the sound, but thank you so much for showing us the different characters. Let us see.
Yeah.
Look,
Good.
the forests that already exist cannot cancel the CO2 emission generated by those multinational corporations.
Do we want?
CARE is macro, claim to watch over human rights to achieve social equality, yet they do nothing. That's right. While their economies are growing, they violate labor rights in our countries for cheap labor, forcing people into survival mode, and they call that informal economies?
Aww. And each of the activists have lines that relate to their struggle. So there was Rina, because we also picture her in the marches, always chanting and rallying up the people. We've seen Rina in so many spaces, and also she's very adamant in the agenda of workers' rights. So she was there. So I don't know. It's like really. I think this section is also very important because we want to honor her intimacy, but also put at the center her political activism, her main messages, and how we envision a world that is really transformed by our feminist work. So yeah, what do you say?
Over the
Yeah, to be
years.
honest, even just that video, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I want that video to become outdated. I want everything in that video to become untrue. I don't want labor exploitation. I don't want emissions. I don't want people, what do you call it? Profit in such an obscene way. Like if everything in that short clip could become untrue, that would be perfect. I would love for the Despise Girls series to become like an outdated horror show, like, oh, remember those terrible times when
Yeah.
these horrible billionaires nearly destroyed the world.
I can almost hear Rina say development justice, no? That was her baby. That was her primary advocacy, because development justice encompasses everything. No, it's about gender justice, social justice, economic justice, climate justice, and accountability to the people. So it's not just one pet issue, but it's really about systemic and structural transformations that are needed, to really make sure that we take care of our beautiful planet, we take care of each other, with care at the center of it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I also
I was
just
gonna
wanted
say, oh, sorry, go ahead, Emilia, and then I'll add.
go ahead, Sanam. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that that's also another storytelling opportunity, Tetet, because development justice, I mean, you're absolutely right. You're associating it with Rina because she was so much a part of that process. But that is genuinely what captures why we're doing this, because development justice is not like somebody sat down in a corner and came up with a cool idea. It was a movement driven concept, and it was something that what do you call it, movements in the region uh, really took the time to build, to say this is the vision of what we want for ourselves at a time when, precisely as you were remembering, that post 20 the post MDG process, what is it going to be, what was the sustainable development agenda going to be, and just the fact that there what these are the sort of backstories that don't get in the history books and is never going to be on the UN website when they finally put their rainbow logos of the SDGs. I don't know what the final 2030 report is going to be like, but for sure development justice and the organizing work in Asia and the fight to have what do you call it, gold 10 on inequality, to have all of these things that didn't even get in, like Gini coefficient and stuff like that, all of that hard work that some of y'all who are on the call were part of as well, and will remember, like this is all the sort of hard fought work, some of which we know has brought us forward, some of which we continue to fight for. But it's so exemplary that, like, we associate that work, that commitment, and that sort of real expression of democratic organizing and people's movement and social justice with Rina, because she was so much a part of that process, so committed to it, so passionate about it, and continues to be so. And I just love that, like for Tetet, the association is development justice is something that comes with Rina. It's the hidden sixth shift, because development justice, if folks don't know, comprises of five fundamental shifts, which includes gender justice and so on and so forth.
I wanted to say that the first time I met Rina, I mean, we met in meetings, but the first time really, really that I met Rina was before in 2014 when we were discussing the SDGs. And so it was like 8 p.m. and we were gonna do a not all night in the UN because they were discussing the SDGs. And so Rina sits down with me. I was with the language team. And so Rina sits down with me in the UN in the plenary, and she says, could you please introduce this language on workers' rights? And I'm like, yes, but I'm working on something else. Leave your proposal of language here, and I will do it later. And she was like, okay, but I would rather wait until I see you doing that. And I was like, who is this woman? Like, I'm telling her I'm busy. And she was like, no, I will wait. I'm like, I'm very busy. I'm going to finish in an hour. Yeah, I can wait. I can sit by your side and I will stay until I see you doing that. And I was like, what the fuck? And so I took her inputs and I put them down. And she was like, yeah, it's gonna be a long night. We stayed the entire night and we left the venue in the morning at 8 a.m. to shower and to come back. And we spent the whole night talking about how we wanted the agenda to be transformative and stuff. But I was like, very impressed that someone was more stubborn than I was. That was
We all know that Rina is so passionate, no, about the work that we do. But one thing that I think everyone who has known Rina at the personal level would definitely attest to how Rina touches you at a very personal level too. It's not just the political, but she gets to know people. You get to share laughs. You get to share coffee. She will text you, let's go meet at what's this, Ground Central, and let's get flat white. Or she will text you and be very insistent that you join her for karaoke. Remember, Sanam, we were in Chiang Mai.
I was wondering how long it would take before the first mention of karaoke.
I know, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was the
I
beginning
think
of the pandemic. And we were in
it's going to
Chiang
happen.
Mai.
It's going to happen. Karaoke is going to come. Which minute is it going to come?
The beginning of the pandemic, people were already like, okay, social distancing, blah, blah. But they said, but Tetet, you're only here in Chiang Mai for a short time. Let's do karaoke at the brothel. You know, it's a seedy place.
No.
They call it the
You're
brothel.
exaggerating. You are exaggerating. Yes, there is, I think, shall we say, business transactions there, but that is not the purpose of that space. Point A. Point B, you are giving demerit to Chiang Mai, which is a town that hosts the only sex worker owned bar, definitely in Thailand and maybe across Southeast Asia, can do bar. So don't lower the level or mix up the karaoke space and the sex worker bar.
Okay,
We all have
the
stories of
point
Rina
is,
karaoke.
you know, we ended up singing all night, and then we left the place at 5 a.m. with our throats so sore, but we laughed so hard. And everyone who knows Rina knows that she has this very infectious laugh, right?
Yeah. And I will share another small detail about leaving at 5 a.m. That place closes earlier. But because they know us and we always come with a big group and we always put down plenty of, orders in for drinks and so on for the karaoke, they let us stay after closing time and they let us out the best.
I mean, we are now deep down the rabbit hole of karaoke, but I think we should get into business. Start the video. Let's watch the new episode. Let me give you a brief overview of the video. So, the previous episodes have been about macro agendas and putting the specific items in relation to many agendas, but we thought we needed to go to the root of the problem. So this in particular is about our project of Delinking that all of you are part of, Sanam, Tetet, and Diyana when she's going to join us. So we asked Ndongo Sambasila, who's one of the most relevant economists in Africa at the moment, to brief us about delinking. And of course, you cannot talk about delinking without talking about imperialism and colonialism and capitalism. So we realized with the creative team, which is Petenera Consulting, who I see Lenica Reyes here, who's the mastermind, one of the writers of all of our videos. She told us that it was actually so complex that we needed to have give her more time to really reflect on each of the issues. So this episode is about delinking, but we will have 3 parts. So this is part 1. And so it's the origins of imperialism, capitalism, and colonialism. And it reminds me of something like Star Wars, the episode 5 when everything is dark, and so there's like a continuation. So this is that, but you let me know what you think. But let's watch the video.
We're on the outskirts of a global south country. Global north and greedy sector, lackeys of the great beast, are looking to feed off these lands. They know they're nothing without them.
Bexa, which way should we go?
To reach those savages, just head right and show no mercy.
To the right? My favorite side.
Mine too.
And mine.
To get their sustenance, They lie and deceive, disguising themselves as international cooperation, sustainable development, and philanthropy. But deep down, they're ruthless predators. They're on the hunt for their next victim.
Hello? Who's there?
Oh, my good man, can we have a few minutes to tell you about the wonders of our master, the beast?
No, thanks. I'm busy.
The end of times are near. Are you sure?
The end of times?
Yes. Yours.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, nothing. He says the times of the beast are unfathomable.
But who is the beast? What are you talking about?
The beast offers you the goodies that you and your community have been looking for.
Voila! Look at this.
Oh.
Don't tell me you're not interested in economic growth or development.
Who is not interested in that? Well, you're in luck. You can become just like us. Really?
Move forward.
The leader of the Global South, seduced by the so-called development, has opened the gates of hell to his people.
Are we like them already?
The beast and his lackeys won't stop until they dominate all Global South countries. Voila!
I said no to them, but they brought on trade sanctions and then imposed a blockade on me.
Voila!
I also said no. They staged a coup.
Same here. I refused, and they launched a military invasion to set up the destructive mega projects. No!
Why are you invading the Global South?
This is not an invasion. We are acting in accordance to the law.
Yeah, our law. We're bringing progress. What are you talking about?
But you're using violence.
Come on. Progress isn't free. Although for us it is.
Yikes! What's wrong with your face?
The air of the Global South dries out our skin. That's why we use masks to hydrate our skin.
Another question. Oh my god!
Oh my god. And that's how the Luckies infiltrated the Global South with their criminal measures. This is just the beginning. The worst is yet to come. Now the Global South will truly know the ferocity of the beast. And that of its cursed Luckies.
Look how handsome it is.
Oh, such a dreamy eyes.
Oh, I remember when it was just a baby, greedy.
Oh, yes, our little baby. La la la.
La la la.
Don't be fooled. The beast was born out of greed, created by global north countries to dominate the world. It has many names. Destruction, Imperial Reaper, Exterminator, wealthy countries, USA, Canada, Israel, UK,
Australia, Japan, New Zealand, South Korea, Germany, Spain, Belgium, Switzerland, Sweden, Finland.
EU countries, and more.
So adorable. Greedy sector, give it a little gift you brought.
Here you go, cutie pie. The beast is the most terrible being on Earth and across times. The destruction it has caused is unbearable. On these plots run the DNA of imperialism and racism, patriarchy, militarism, capitalism, colonialism, and extractivism. Which is why it depends on the vitality of the global south. Its lackeys, leaders, businessmen, and national elites have created a predatory economic system to satisfy its insatiable hunger with the lives of people and the planet.
The fire burn! The master is insatiable. Always hungry.
And I don't blame him, huh? I'm always hungry too. Hungry for money.
Hurry up and clean it up. It's dessert time.
Yes, almost there!
Not in our name! Stop imperialism!
Poor thing. Let's give it more global south to devour.
The end of times are here. Life on Earth can't withstand the beast's genocidal and ecocidal crime. The lackeys don't seem to care. They're so dumb and greedy. They don't even realize that the beast is gonna take them down too. It's gonna destroy everything.
Yay!
Kudos, Emilia and Denise and the team. I love the series.
What do you think?
Well, first of all, it's like so fun. But at the same time, like so real because the reality is so horrifying. Um, this is going to be very irrelevant for so many people because you're not Bengali, but it reminded me, some of you might have heard of the name of the filmmaker Satyajit Roy. Uh, but he has a lot of different films, and some of the films I think are so specific to Bengali sort of rhyming traditions from theater that it would, even if you watched it with subtitles, it wouldn't make sense. But anyway, I'm mentioning it because this particular episode reminded me of this film, which is called Hero Rajar Deshe, which I don't know which enterprising person did this, but somebody put the whole movie, including like the sort of blurry black and white certificate from Indian film board or whatever at the beginning, put the whole film online. And Hero Rajar Deshe, Hero is diamond, like Hero Raja is the Diamond King. Hero Raja Deshe, so it's in the country of the Diamond King, and it's a kind of a dystopian world where there's a very greedy king, and then the sort of two characters who are heroes in other stories, in other films of Satyajit Ray, they visit and they realize the kind of problems that are being caused. Anyway, it's a great type of film in the same vein as you guys have done with this episode, which is sort of bringing you face to face with the horrors of what is happening in our society, but in a way that like you can't look away. I will also say that rewatching Hero Raja Deshe in the last few weeks has been very sort of scary because, like I said, the Diamond King, he likes sparkly things, and he's trying to collect all of the jewels and all of the gold as we're watching news about the ballroom being built. And there's another storyline in that movie also that they send out orders to shut down schools so that learning stops, so that people don't question him. And that also is such a sort of familiar action that we've seen in not just like in the sort of direct interference with education, but also the developments that we've seen in the digital sphere and the domination of tech giants and manipulation of information and all of these things that we now know, misinformation, disinformation. And yeah, I'm really glad that the Rise Up series is there, because it's that small component that we really need to fight the techno-feudalism age that we are living in now. But as I said before, I really hope that one day, hopefully in our lifetime, we're going to be like, oh, these are old horror stories. It's not true anymore.
Absolutely. This is a very dark episode. What about you, Tetet?
It's like a lot of things were happening, no? It's an explainer that has historical provides the historical context, it provides the current context, and it makes those connections. So I would say this is a really brave, bold, daring piece. So I was texting in the chat, congratulations, Lenny.
Yeah,
It was such a monumental task for putting it together, no? And I really appreciated all the voice talents. I almost hated, the greedy sector, the global north, because our voice talents also gave life to those characters. So you can really see, the artistry, trying to bring in a more popular version what is a very heavy topic. So I think that's one of the things I'm most proud of in the Rise Up series, that we are able to unpack all of this. Delinking is such an abstract concept. So how do you now concretize such an abstract context and make it popular so that maybe even my kids can learn a thing or two by watching all of these. So I think that's a big achievement, no, and a big challenge for us, since we're hoping that this series can also contribute to growing our movements. So well done, yay!
So much.
And I see Diyana's online if you want to join the conversation. We just finished watching the episode.
Hello, Diyana. Thank you so much for joining.
Hello, and I'm so sad that I actually didn't get to watch the video just now, so I'm gonna have to catch up with basically the recordings later, as well as on going on YouTube to watch the video, which I also know is what everybody else is gonna do if you're like me and you didn't catch the video just now with everybody else. But it sounds so exciting, and I actually can't wait to watch those videos as soon as they're up.
Thank you, Diyana. We will get back to you so that you can share more a bit about Rina. But in the meantime, I want to say that the video is it was a very tough endeavor, and actually it also has, if you will notice, music that is original. Jose Miguel Hernandez did all of the pieces. And, so there has been really a very strong creative effort with Joyce, Paniagua, and all of the people lending their voice. It's an effort also to even have all people having accents from the Global South. We don't want to try to curate this because this is a project from the Global South. But I don't know, I like many scenes, like this scene about how they come and say, do you have a moment to tell you about our master the beast, like the preachers going on talking from door to door, but then repeating the same thing for the Global South. And in one scene, they're invading the military, in another, they're staging a coup, and in the other, they're just bribing them. So, those situations that happen so often in our developing countries, and people just seem to go past them and just talk about sustainable development and think that it is our fault of our governments and our countries just to not being able to develop when we have all of these threats. And I also wanted to say there is this scene about the burning of the witches, the witch hunts. And that has to do actually with a very economic analysis of the original appropriation, of the sexual division of labor, and how when women having all of this knowledge, the medicinal knowledge, the medical knowledge, and they wanted to revolt and say our voices matter, what we do matters, and they were prosecuted and then burnt out, really criminalized. And that's also a way to maintaining the sexual division of labor. So there was this tension between all of these different types of voices that wanted to assert themselves and how the system smashed them. And so there are many moments in the video in which we can also tell the tensions on how those that are oppressed wanted to come back with a different proposal, but then the use of violence was so adamant. So, I mean, I'm not telling you, Sanam, about the use of violence. You have been working on the military presence of global North countries, especially the US, as of late, on how we cannot just analyze development without bringing about the role of the military complex.
I mean, it's not even as of late. Do you know how old the Guantanamo naval base is? It's more than 100 years old. The U.S. military claims Guantanamo as an outcome of the territories handed over to them at the end of the Spanish-American War. So that's why that remains a contested land, that Cuba today does not recognize the Platt Amendment that the US says legitimizes their presence there. But yeah, the number of US military bases worldwide is in the 800s, and it's now supplemented by, the satellites, the surveillance technology, and all of that. So we cannot even comprehend the extent to which this has expanded. So in that sense, the way the tentacles of military presence has really gripped every corner of the world is definitely in more recent decades, but I think it is hard to dissociate from the fact that the building of fortresses and bases and all of that has been an imperial presence that the US has been building for a very long time. And I think that this is where like the economic analysis that ties in with the ways that these different systems of oppression work together, how patriarchy and white supremacy and all of that stack together and sort of help each other is really important, because these are all reinforcing forces for each other. The US becomes a dominant economic force and transitions from a sort of feudalistic economic system to a modern capitalist economic system. And that dominant power coincides with the building up of this military power. And yeah, it has not gone away, and it's just expanded and expanded. And I think it's worrying that people get used to it. Like, this is one of the things that I resented, that the news reporting that's done in the West is often like, oh, so and such was killed in Sudan, this American soldier died or whatever. And the trope is so present in American sort of cultural products as well, right? I noticed this, there are films about bringing the body of a soldier home and how sad. And I think Kevin Bacon is on a flight in a military dress or whatever. But there's even sort of lots of small moments in different films and TV shows and whatnot that's sort of talking about the PTSD that the American soldiers are facing. Yeah. And every time I see this trope, it makes me so angry. Not that I don't sympathize with the kind of suffering that these young people are being sent out to die and sort of destroy their bodies and destroy their minds. And, they're also being trapped in this economic system that pushes them into the military in ways that covers their costs. They cannot cover their housing, education, and basic needs. But the reality is that they are going to participate in a military occupation, in a military invasion, in violence that is profoundly more terrifying and impactful for Iraq, for Afghanistan, for Libya, all of these countries that saw a direct invasion. And we've moved on to a more pervasive period of drone warfare, which, I know that Americans at this point are romanticizing Obama a lot because you're facing the horrors of Donald Trump, but honestly speaking, Obama is the drone president. He introduced drone warfare, and now it's not even, the sad story of this traumatized, handsome soldier coming home. It's very much these, what do you call it? Data centers that the NSA and the military and the naval base, Air Force, and all of that work together to set up. And these are in all these strategic parts in the world. In Australia, there's a massive site called Pine Gap, which is different from a lot of the naval bases. The naval bases do actually station all of these ships and tanks and subways. Pine Gap it looks like a bunch of golf balls. And this is where they're coordinating drone warfare from, as well as a lot of different types of attacks and surveillance. It's really something that is more nefarious day to day because it's a bloodless war from the perspective of Western imperialism.
Don't get me started with all of the discourse about the Israeli soldiers, the IOF, the occupation force, that they're now depressed and they're facing higher suicidal rates. And it's like, well, yeah, why don't you start by not committing a genocide? And it's just this thing how the older narrative is.
It's a similar thing with, male loneliness epidemic, and what about suicide loneliness and suicide rates amongst young men. And of course, those are important things, but like that is also caused by patriarchy. Like we can care about these things and recognize that the structure that we're fighting is causing the problem, that we're not, that if we try and focus with sympathizing with that trauma, then we're being distracted.
Absolutely. And let me tell you, on all people here, that the episodes, if we will upload it in YouTube, it's actually now already on YouTube, and you have access to subtitles in English and to captions in English and in Spanish. And also, if you want us to do the subtitles or captions in a different language, please reach out to us and we will share with you the script so you can help us translate that into another language, and we will upload that version as well. So I think it is a collective effort, and it's so important to have these type of materials accessible for everybody. So let us know how we can also help support these materials in your original languages. And yes, thank you so much, Denise, helping us to remind us all that we are doing this to try to fundraise for Rina's treatment. It is very important. I hope this week we will not only surpass the 50% of the money that is needed, but definitely that we reach the full amount of money that we really want to have Rina access to the proper treatment. I just want to bring in here that Diyana also to let us know how it is that you're joining us now. We understand that you have a lot of difficulties, but we were saying at the start of this session how it is so important for us to be here in solidarity with Rina, and we know that you have also went through many adventures with Rina. Diyana, are you there?
Yes, I am here, and again, it's so nice to be here in solidarity, in sisterhood, in community. I think with all of you right now, both in facing all of the big macro structural sort of like violence and horrors that we are facing around the world right now, which from what I'm hearing from folks is what the video touches upon a lot. But also in those same horrors and or tragedies or difficulties that we also I think face in our daily life, in our personal relationship, in losses from friends and families, or those who are facing other kind of struggles in day to day, right? And for me, I think it's really one of those things where this particular moment of time is calling upon us to really be more so in community and more so in solidarity with each other. And the movement has always called upon us to be like that, but I feel like this particular moment of time, I personally have been feeling it so much more. The need to be in community, the need to be in solidarity, in many cases, the need to be in connections and looking after each other. And when I say looking after each other, it's not just, in just like a care, well-being kind of way, but also looking after each other by, going to spaces to disrupt things that are causing harms in other parts of the world to other people, or, organizing and mobilizing on certain issues, to bring up solidarity or awareness, like all of these different ways that we are here in community and present and are together with one another. And I think this is really, for me, it has always felt a little bit like this, but I think it's been really pronounced in the last couple of years or so. And I think that's probably is a sentiment that's echoed by many people, where because the state has so unbelievably, completely and utterly failed us in so many more ways than one. They've failed to stop like multiple genocides. They failed to build, systems and infrastructure that allows us to live a life with dignity and care and well-being. They fail to, provide for community when they get displaced by climate change. They fail to provide people even the most basic things like food or housing or even clothing, right? I think like in so many ways, in so many aspects of our life, like state and the systems has just so categorically failed on us. And I think that's all the more reasons and all the more kind of feeling where this is where the need for us to step up in community with one another is like being felt for me personally. And that includes really, things like mutual aid, because the state is failing to be able to provide us the kind of public services we need to combat illnesses, or to rebuild your house when it gets hit by a typhoon or a flood, right? And then we as community, as activists, as feminists, are having to step up for each other. And I really
and
think,
the billionaires are stealing from us.
And the billionaires continue to steal from us, correct? Yeah, but I really think like this is something that I also spoke with Rina very recently when I saw her in Chiang Mai. And this complicated feeling that I think not just her, that all of us activists often feel when we think that, we're centering ourselves in the movement, or the movement is being focused on us or something like that. And I kind of just reminded her that it's not really that. And I think I want to remind all of us as well here that it's not really that. It's really just about us acknowledging that because systems and states have failed us in so many ways, then we can even like begin to kind of like articulate, and it is therefore more and more urgent for us to step up for each other, through mutual aid, through caring for each other, through action, through organizing, through mobilizing, and through many, many other things that we can do for each other. And I think it's the same thing when one of our sisters, one of our fellow activists, is in need for fighting against cancer, and we're stepping up for her as well, right? And I think that's really, for me, where a lot of my feelings and my thoughts are coming into when we think about this particular moment of time, and how everything that we're facing in the world is just sort of like intersecting. And I've never felt, I think, the need and like the sense of feeling like so being in need of to be in so much more in community and in sisterhood and in solidarity with one another. And I hope in this particular moment, other folks will feel the same as well. And this is one of those things that we'll step up for each other, in the same way that we step up, for issues, for other activists, for other communities in different parts of the world, in all of our fight for solidarity and for liberation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Diyana, for being so on point on how this is just really, as our feminist movement says, it's not the political, the personal is political, and how it should be that all persons should have access to dignified treatment, a proper treatment, and it is just that this disgusting criminal system in which there is a predatory effort every day to remove us from our exercising our rights, it is impacting and it's enhancing the tension of life versus capital. And so now we are seeing and feeling it very strongly in our spaces. So at least this is also a way to fight back and to be in solidarity and recognize that we can do a lot precisely through this collective power. So thank you so much. Actually, I was thinking like how we can also help to fundraise for Rina, and for us the Rise Up series are very a natural way to honor Rina and to use that as a material, because she's a specific character in the series. So we will organize a screening in a theater in Mexico, hopefully in the first week of December, and we will invite local feminists to do the screening of the videos, and we will fundraise there. And so maybe there is also, this is an idea that people can bring back home, organize your own screenings, organize your own fundraisers. And so even if you yourself don't have the money to fundraise, then this is a way of inviting a wider share of collectives. I think there is also an exhaustion, and there's only so much we can do, and people in our communities. But if we really do the collective effort, I think this can be also a way of of enhancing and expanding Rina's political messages, because in the end, this is also about that, how impactful has been Rina in mentoring so many activists across the world, especially in Asia and the Pacific. And I was just reminding yesterday people in the Women's Caucus how she was one of the ones who began the program of feminist participatory action. How do you call it, Diyana? Research, yes. And now,
FPAR.
yes. And so she has always been so proud of that element. And so I know Diyana now is very strongly also pushing it in different in different areas in Asia. But so that is really the way in which we're not just going in the global spheres. People is really like people like Diyana, like Rina, really going into the spaces where communities are facing all of these backlashes against their rights and making a difference. So yeah, I don't know, Diyana, if you want to tell us about FPAR. Are you there? I know
Yeah,
we're
can you hear me?
yeah, yes.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I think as Emilia was saying, like Rina, like I think was mentored and taught and politicized and radicalized like so many different feminist activists that I know personally in my life and personally myself as well, you know, and I think she was perhaps one of the earliest mentor I had who taught me to look at the world and analyze the political system and economic systems in other ways that I was not familiar with at that time, with the feminist movement that I came from. And so, you know, and she really opened the space and pioneered a lot of new things as well. And I think, you know, it was really during our time at APWLD that we also pioneered with many other of our colleagues and our membership as well, like a different ways of doing research and really around feminist participatory action research that's really, you know, challenging that hierarchy and that this, you know, traditional idea that knowledge has to come from the top or that has to come from academia. You know, as someone myself who's not from academia, Rina herself is not from academia, and so really just kind of challenging that and challenging all of the ways that we think knowledge is produced, what is an expert and what's not an expert, right? And I think that's really something that, you know, is one of really many of Rina's legacy, you know, and like many of the things that, you know, we will always associate with her. And, you know, and like every time we talk about a particular work or when we talk about our work around sustainable development goals or feminist development justice, but Rina, you know, and I think it's like these things that, you know, Rina has just like really pioneered and taught and sort of like empowered and really shared with many of us around the world. And I think it's been such a pleasure for many of us who got to work with her on many of these things, I think. Both, you know, whether professionally or, you know, in slightly different capacities or in networks or like to be, you know, with her in many of the different spaces.
Yes, and don't forget karaoke.
How could we forget? How could we forget? Karaoke is the place that we are most in the middle of everything else. Like UN spaces and then karaoke. And some other terrible meeting and then karaoke. Yes.
The first year I was supposed to meet Rina, I didn't because she was in Kate Lappin's house the entire night singing while I was just mingling with everybody else. So I met all of you, APWLD, in the meeting in Chiang Mai for the feminist movement, and Rina was all night singing Bon Jovi and I don't know what in a karaoke.
Yeah, I mean that's also one thing I think Rina definitely taught me, how we kick ass in all of the different, you know, intergovernmental spaces with all of these terrible corporations and shitty right winger and party at the same time. Like that has to go together. Our joy and our resistance, our fun and everything else has to go, all of them together. And I think, you know, Rina really taught me a lot of that.
Yes, in a karaoke, when you said, "Oh no, I passed, I don't know how to sing," she will say, "Okay, let me do it for you." So she was the whole night.
I think people who can sing shouldn't be allowed. Karaoke is for bad singing only.
tell that all to the Asians. Like I'm a Latin, so we don't sing. So that uncanny talent that Asians
No,
have.
not all Asians. Don't generalize us billions. We are
Like,
we are the most diverse region in the world. How dare you?
you're like,
The
we also are bad
Filipinos.
singers.
Yeah, there's plenty of bad singers. It's just the
I
Filipinos
the
that are
right to be a bad
particularly,
singer.
number one, very good singers. Number two, extremely competitive at karaoke.
Absolutely.
And I'm taking advantage of the fact that Tetet's having a little trouble reconnecting and just throwing all these accusations out there for her to respond later in the comments.
Yeah, so sorry to see that Tetet is having troubles with her connection. But I don't know, maybe just let's start wrapping up this session. So many people joined today, so many great comments in the chat. Thank you. Thank you really for joining us, for commenting on the video, for joining us in solidarity for Rina. Also, I see Sanam. Thank you also for sharing the link of the Bengali film. I think it's very important to also know our lineage and our influences. And I see so many people here.
No, I come from the 8th most populous country in the world. Somebody will be like, "Oh, I can't believe this film has been mentioned." I just want to add that, I just want to add, since we're trying to wrap up a little bit, that first of all, for those of you who have donated, I know several of you who are on this call at the moment did donate, and very generously, and so thank you for that. And I hope I'm sure you're doing as much as you can. I hope the ideas that Emilia gave about having screenings and fundraising little events are something that y'all can take on. We are also not the ones with all the ideas. You guys also know things, know people, can tell me how to rob a multinational corporation. I don't know. Because this it really strikes me that it's such a daunting amount of money for us because we are not the global elite, but it is really a nothing amount of the billionaires and the multinational corporations who are stealing from us. I want to also just reflect that I think let's also be encouraged by how we're all coming together like this. We're doing it now for Rina because of the appreciation and love we have for each other. But I feel like this is what we want to do for each other all the time. And I hope y'all feel encouraged by that, that if you need us in some way, that we're going to try and show up for you however we can. So yeah, those are some of the things I wanted to make sure I said before we ran out of time. Emilia.
Thank you so much, Sanam. And totally, if you have any more ideas, let us know. We are a big community. It doesn't have to also to be us. You feel free to push and let us know your ideas, and we will support you in whatever way we can. What the Campaign of Campaigns can do is to really start pushing reminders and the links and stuff every day from now until the end of the month. We really think that we should focus our efforts from here to the end of the month, because this is an urgency. So we cannot just wait several months for a GoFundMe. We really want to focalize our efforts. So hopefully you can help us share the information every day and try to come up with new ideas. Let us know if you want to organize your screenings. We can also help you share materials and stuff. So we just ask you to help us expand the work that we are already doing. And thank you also to Kate Lapping and Ilan for starting this GoFundMe with this very transparent information. Rina, we send you all of our love. I hope if you see this and that we're doing with lots of laughs, with lots of hope, and we are taking it one day at a time, the same as you are. So this is a very important collective effort just to show how our appreciation and our recognition for the personal struggle you're going through at the moment. So yes, and people is sending you lots of love and hugs here in the chat. So thank you so much. Thank you for everybody who stayed with us until the end. We will also share this in our Campaign of Campaigns media, the YouTube, the Facebook. Please help us share and many people could not join us, but they will catch up. So yeah, thank you so much. I don't know. Thank you for the Petenera Consulting, my team, also for the amazing video. We will also be discussing many dimensions and aspects. We barely had the time to touch on the elements, but we think that it's an important conversation to have alone on imperialism and the origins of the beast. So hopefully it's a material that is helpful to all of you. And yes, Tetet sadly fell off, but thank you, Tetet, for joining us, especially in the difficult circumstances that you're facing. It's very much appreciated. And Diyana as well, she had a very busy day, and yet she was able to join us for a minute. So thank you, Diyana. Sanam, it's always a pleasure to share time with you, even if it's 2 a.m. in the morning for you. Thank you so much.
I mean, these are the mistakes I made moving here, but that's on me. I need to find a way to move to Latin America, obviously, so that we can be in the same time zone, so that we can conspire like this some more.
I'm telling you.
All right.
Okay, people,
thank you everyone so much. And I know that just as Tetet has gone through this with the loss of her husband, cancer is something that has affected a lot of us. I lost my mother to cancer as well just 2 years ago. So this is a familiar sort of experience for a lot of people. I think our empathies are with Rina, with y'all, and there's also people who have beat this, and I really believe Rina's going to be one of them, and I hope all of us showing up this way will make that happen.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sanam. All the love to you and everybody who's here, who's watching us online. Thank you. Sending you lots of love. Ciao.